Hi, Sean Muniz.
How's it going?
It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Thanks for coming in today.
Of course.
I'd love to talk to you about working on Inheriting Hood. What was it like being a cinematographer on this project?
Oh, it was a process. I felt like I was kind of thrown in a fire, and I was like, man, as a fireman, I'm not a fireman, but
It's about to
I'm
ask.
gonna do my best just to make sure everything comes to life in the most beautiful way. And I was just really grateful to be thought about in that role, and I'm really glad that I was able to bring it together in the time that we had. Not really knowing too much about uh, how films are really filmed. I
Mhm.
do a lot of music videos myself, and so having our relationship with Katrina I met Katrina on a Pilo shoot, and when she brought this project to my attention, she just liked how I kind of shoot and film music videos, so I kind of brought that same method of madness to the film, and I think it came out in a beautiful way. So I'm really grateful for the crew and really glad that we brought it together.
I completely agree. What is some of the method of madness? What do you like to bring from music videos to something cinematic like this?
I mean, if I like it, but we all gotta love what we're putting on camera. And I felt like when we did a rehearsal,
Mhm.
and there was a lot that I learned on the rehearsal that I didn't like, and I communicated that with Katrina just off the rip about talent and how certain characters might be a little bit stronger than others. And so I didn't really know who our lead actress was going to be, Gloria, by chance, and I kind of met her on the day of the shoot, so I didn't know how to really go about it. I knew I had an amazing crew. I knew that the camera package I had, I was going to be able to operate super efficiently.
Mm.
And I was like, it was kind of the night before I was with the AD. We were just kind of like scouting the location. I was just fully seeing it. And I was like getting in mind, like, okay, if certain things are happening, like I have a great idea of like, we're using this park, we're using these areas that Katrina kind of gave me a brief understanding, but I was like, I really want to film in these areas, understanding where the sun was going to be, and really just kind of like running that by her the day of the shoot. And off of, I mean, that's kind of how certain things are with the music videos, but at the same time, I wanted to be organized on the day of, just knowing if we like it, we got to love it. And so just finding out the scenes that we had in mind, agreeing on that, and then just moving forward without trying to like back and forth. It's just like if at that point that's what we have, that's what we're dealing with. So let's just go ahead and make it happen. And so knowing that on the rehearsal, I wasn't too aware who our main talent was going to be. I just know that leading into it, Katrina was super excited to be able to work with Gloria at the time.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay, if the director's super stoked, I'm super stoked. I don't know who she is. Even the girls in the fight scene, we had to make some revisions on who was going to be the lead, actress to be able to fight Gloria, because some of the characters we had may not have been as stronger in that respect. But I knew that her cousin, Tanya, was just going to be a little bit more of a leading role. And I was like, okay. But then when I saw their energies together on set, their chemistry, even so, during the fight scene with Gloria um, and Foz, it was just like, damn, like there's a lot of great chemistry that I saw, and I was just so happy to be able to see that, because the talent does everything. I'm just really putting the camera in a really cool place, lighting it up to make them look beautiful, and just trusting that they're gonna do what they do
Mm.
best, um, while I'm able to help tell their story in the most effective way. And so, starting it from the rehearsal process, kind of coming into it a little bit blind, but having direction of like, she said, "We're going left, I'm going left." We can't just make crazy erratic decisions, but at the same time, like, we follow in the path and we trust in the process. So I was really glad to see um Gloria do what she do, because I was just so excited on the first day after the first fight scene. Even so, like, that was a big part of the rehearsal, big part of the process.
Get out of my way.
Mac, you always doing this shit. Oh, chill.
I bet.
And I was a little nervous about it, but after we had started doing our thizzle wiggle, kind of fighting with the stunt coordinator, shout out to him. He was an amazing mentor during the process just to help give me ideas of how much coverage we should get and just how to like kind of tell the story in another way. I was really grateful to just like have that understanding from his perspective within the film industry in a longer form, storytelling aspect. Because I come from a music video, so I'm like, I like it, I love it, boom, move on. But I was like, well, we got to get a lot more coverage. I said,
Yes.
you're right, let's do that. And like, I just more coverage, the better. So, boom, bang, we got it. We really knocked it out the park. Gloria unfortunately got knocked out in the scene, but hey, it
But
was.
you were there to cover it
I was
though.
there to cover it. I was lost in the sauce, and eventually looking at the behind the scenes, I'm like, damn, like it was a whole blur, and I'm just so grateful for my crew being able to operate on the type of time I move at because we're boom 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 boom.
You're very fast
Yeah,
paced.
we're very fast paced. It was a fast paced day. I felt like we had a lot of coverage. We had 30 pages. A lot of people didn't say that 15 pages in a day wasn't possible, but I was like, I mean, at the end of the day, they just talking nonsense to me because I know if Katrina believes we can make it happen,
Mm.
I full heartedly know that's gonna happen. So like, especially as a cinematographer, I'm not gonna like try to do less than what we have to accomplish. So
It sounds like you have a lot of trust in Katrina. What's it
for
like
sure.
working with her?
It was honestly super fun. It was super simple. She trusted a lot of the ideas that I had. She trusted the just like the decisions I was making, and just and like full heartedly believing that. Like, I mean, I believed in my crew, I believed in myself, and I know that like at the end of the day, I was like, okay, if my crew is doing what we're trying to do, if Katrina is believing in these decisions I'm making, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just the talent, to be
Yeah.
able to tell the story for us. So I was like, dude, like everything is coming together in the most beautiful and authentic way. And I think that really is the best thing about storytelling. And like, especially with like filmmaking, like I like it to be candid, I like it to be natural and like not so like rehearsed every single second of the day. Like, just like they were kind of talking like they had their line. I mean, the fact that Gloria was brought into the fire like
Mm.
what, like a month beforehand, like we did the rehearsal on like the 6th of December, and you know how holidays be with families, so
Mhm.
everyone and their mother is going to be busy literally, and we had our film on the 6th of like January, so it's like, or the 4th or something, like it was so quick. I was just like, I just hope they execute. And so working with Katrina, knowing that she's handling talent, all I had to do was handle crew. And I was like, okay, like, and like I had the crew that I wanted to work with. So I was like, oh, it's even
That
it's even
makes it
more
so much
amazing. Yeah, it
better.
was so amazing. So it was just a
Absolutely.
seamless process working with Katrina, working with the talent, and just like giving them little small tips on like what would be a little bit better on camera for hitting certain marks that they were given by Katrina, but at the same time, just like helping really just elevate the story in that way, in that
That's
respect.
wonderful. It sounds like what I'm hearing is you definitely recognized what the talent was doing and what Katrina was
Sure,
saying, and you were able to figure out best how to capture that story.
sure, exactly.
And what was a typical day on set like for you?
Well, it was a 2-day shoot, and typical day on set, I don't know. We woke up at like 4:30 in the morning. I felt like both days just to be like alive and awake and ready to party. So, I felt like, I don't know, when I go on set, it's a party for me. Like I'm there to have fun. I'm there to have a good time. I'm there to really just like enjoy the process with everyone, even though it's like, oh, we're all stressed out. We're all,
Mhm.
it's all naysay at that point. Like we're all here for a reason, like
Mhm.
everyone has a divine purpose for us to be selected to be on this crew, to be in this story, to be in this moment. And so for me, uh, I'm just having a party with everyone, just lighting things up, telling a story in the most fun way. So like, it wasn't really anything different than like my everyday life, I felt like.
That is a beautiful thing when work can be fun. And what were some of the most fun moments that you can remember on set?
Oh my gosh. Uh, the most fun moments. I definitely think the fighting scene was fun because it was like cool to be able to like see it come together from
Mm.
the rehearsal. Um, I really liked the emotional moments. There was a time in the bedroom scene where they were having a conversation just about like after like this was like post beat up scene or like
Mm.
she's like with her grandmother, and I remember I was like filming it and I was just like, I remember I was like laying down in a bed. I was like, dude, this shot is so sick. And just like really enjoying the moment. And then like, I was like, wait, but we got to get closer coverage. And then like placing the camera in like some unique angles, just like getting different coverage. I was just like, damn, I'm really feeling these emotions right now as I kind of cut into it. Um, but like the first shot was just like the coolest thing to me just because I don't know, I like a wide angle. It's just like regular things, but at the same time, I was able to like really feel the emotion. And then that was day 2, and I remember day 1, there was a moment where I I I know how the day is kind of playing out, but like in the form of the story, I'm also like aware of it. I just don't know like through time where this is playing out in the exact moment of like the film. Like, is this closer to the end? I know it's around the end. I just don't know if like this is the ending moment. And I
Yes.
remember when the cops had came and you know, I think Rohan was like, "Come on, Miha, let's go." And then he was like, "What about my niece?" And all. And then she was like, "She's like, don't worry about me." And he was like, "All right, like you'll be all right." And like, I remember I panned it over just a little bit, and like, it was just so emotional. And I remember I started crying because I was like, "Damn, like real life, though, this is like a moment that actually like I could relate to. I could feel this. Like I know exactly what she's going through." And it was just like feeling the emotions is something that's like it really pulls you into the moment. But I know if I feel it in the moment, I know our viewer is gonna feel that in camera, you know, or at least like it's gonna translate to the viewer a lot better.
Absolutely. Just
You got 10 more minutes or I'm gonna book you.
And so I was just like really glad to be able to just like witness that. And so those were like 2 highlighting moments. Even with grandma, like there's a moment like I hella zoomed out and I was like, oh shit, like excuse my language, but I just
No, it's
remember
fine.
like I had zoomed out like in the video, like I didn't even know I zoomed out, but like I was like, oh, I think I should be a little wider. But it was like literally in like the language of Spanish, I wasn't too like familiar with what they were saying.
Mhm.
And it was like the last bit, and I was like, oh, I wish I didn't zoom out, but like Katrina kind of liked that like moment,
Wow.
I guess. I don't know. It was just like I think it translated something different to me, maybe to everyone else, but at the same time, it was like the ending beat. And I remember I was like, oh, it was such an emotional like conversation that they
Mm.
had. And then, you know, when we see grandmother, like she's like, oh, I love you too, Mija. And like I was like, it was so good. It was so good.
Yes.
Just
Absolutely.
capturing that.
Vamos a tener que ir
No,
a
no, no,
hablar
no,
con
no, no.
ellos y mira que yeah, le
Mamá,
doy, se
mamá,
acabó
sí, yo sé,
todo.
usted es una guerrera, pero se me sienta ahí antes que me dé un infarto.
Entonces tú,
Usted sabe que yo lo... I'm gonna take care of it.
So this film was shot in 2 days.
Right.
How was that managed with you guys? How were you able to?
So like I don't know. So I do a lot of directing work myself, but I also do a lot of AD work, and so I
Mhm.
kind of understand how to put a schedule together. And so my roommate, he wants to do a lot of AD work, so I was like, okay, well, I'll throw you in the fire with me, you know. And like if
Here
you,
we go.
yeah, like if you wanna AD, like this is the one to try it on because we're gonna work really closely together, you know. As
You
an
have
AD and a
to.
DP relationship, they work pretty well together. And for me, understanding like I'm not taking a director's role, I'm just surrendering that to Katrina. Amazing. Let me just work with this AD. Let me know that like, okay, we're 30 minutes behind. I'm like, well, this is a quick scene coming up after this. So I know that like I'm not too worried, but like at the same time, like I respect the heads up because I need that just to be reminded.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people that are in the film industry are probably gonna like, you know, think it's unbelievable, but at the same time, like, I mean, believe it or not, like watch the film. We made it happen. And I think it came
That's
out really
beautiful.
amazing how it did because it was authentic, it was organic, it wasn't stressed. Like, sure, there's a little bit of stress. You gotta have a little bit of that here and there within the set, but at the same time, it was nothing like hand on your face kind of thing, unless it's like, you know, that was done out the way kind of situation. But yeah, it was great. And I think that like the idea that a lot of people were telling me within like my film community that it wasn't possible, like I really love that idea that like it's going to be a challenge, you know.
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing is like first off it is a challenge for me cuz it is a short film and it is a longer form of storytelling. I want to make sure that like I maximize um the efficiency of everyone because of how long of a script it was,
Yes.
but also just make sure that like everyone hits their mark and make sure that like not just like talent but crew is on point with everything because like we can't waste a single minute. Um within it. And so yeah, bringing on Spencer, the AD, like I think he did a great job. We sat through like 2 meetings, like 3-hour meetings, going through flushing out the schedule, and like I think Spencer was probably pretty overwhelmed with like my process of putting it together, because I was just like, Spence, we gotta like boom, 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 like through time. And it's like, sure, like we're writing down on thing, it's gonna be like 15 minutes for each scene, but like in the grand scheme of it, this entire thing should probably be like 15, 15, 15, 15. That's like damn near 2. That's like an hour, right?
Yeah.
Excuse my math, but like 15, 30, 40. Yeah. So then I was like, we got about an hour to knock out this whole scene. If we're a little bit ahead, we're a little bit behind. At the end of the day, just like make sure you remind me like where we should be at by time. And like, we got to get all this done by lunch in my mind. So it's like, that just has to happen regardless, you know? And so, yeah, it was just like, it was knowing that I put the schedule together with him and knowing our relationship as a roommate, I was just like trusting him that he's not going to like stress me out, but he's definitely going to like remind me like little, you know.
He knows you well.
He knows me well enough to be able to be like, hey, Sean, like you behind. I'm like, hey, bro, we're on the last one. Like, relax, you know? Like, did you just see that shot? That shit was beautiful. So I was like, come on now. Like,
And you did that.
yeah, exactly.
You
So I'm
did
like,
that.
I was like, talk to me. Nice, Spencer. So
You were able to show all your cohorts in the film world that it can be done in 2 days.
Yeah,
That
for
must make
sure.
you feel pretty proud.
For sure. And, you know, I take a lot of gratitude, and I give them thanks for being able to show me, you know, just like I love to be able to just like learn from them, because at the end of the day, like they're teaching me whether they know it or not. Like if they may be at a different tier than me, at the same time, I understand like the processes that they've gone through, the projects that they've taken on. And I learn from that, as this one is like one on my belt. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, they did this lighting scenario. Well, fuck, I'm gonna do the same simulation, you know, because that was efficient, that was quick, that was dope, and it created a beautiful image that helped tell the emotion of the story. But then, yeah, I take great pride in just learning from my friends that are also in the film industry that are doing cool shit just as well, because it's like that's how I'm able to learn and apply that method of madness into my practice.
That's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
You find so much beauty in each of the scenes, it sounds
sure.
like, and you're able to use the emotion that you're feeling
Right.
through your lens to tell the story.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Of course. I would just like to give a shout out to Oscar, because he helped in the back end. Without Oscar, I know like we wouldn't have been able to eat food on set, and I just know that was like a big part in like everyone's
Food's a huge part.
a huge part of things. And so yeah, Oscar was doing so much behind the scenes. I just hope he knows, you know, big love to Oscar for being
Big
able
love
to hold
to
it
Oscar.
down. Just
Thank you,
because
Oscar.
like that was a I mean, it's essential, you know, you want to make sure your crew is fed, but you also want to make sure that like snacks are there, everything, just like water, everything is like for crew, you know, you want to make sure your crew, especially on a short film of this caliber with everything going on. I was just like super grateful to know that like Oscar had our back on the back end of things, for whatever we all needed, you know, whether it was some water or some more water. At the end of the day, there was everything going on, you know, and I'm just grateful that it came together in the way it did. So
Thank you, Sean.
of course, thank you guys. Thank you, Katrina.
Cool. You did it!
Hell
You were
yeah.
so nervous, you said.
I know.
You didn't seem nervous at all.
I get hella nervous.